Today's episode is brought to you by In My Bag Apparel and Customs. In My Bag is a brand that collaborates with talented artists from across the country to bring some unique and exclusive concepts to life at a reasonable price. For $15 off your first purchase, visit whatnot.com/invite/in_my_bag 2023. That's whatnot.com/invite/in_my_bag 2023 for $15 off your first purchase. And make sure to check them out on Instagram as well at in_my_bag 2023. Did you know cherophobia is the fear of happiness? Today's episode is brought. That sounds a lot like me. Let's get into it.
That sounds like wives.
You said that sounds like wives?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I did not know that the In My Bag Apparel button is super sensitive. That thing went off like 4 different times in the intro. That's a glitch we're going to have to get to. But anyway, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the I almost said chop with the Peace God. The Playbook Podcast. I'm Prescott Kelly. Today is Tuesday, February 4th. Glad to have you back with us. On today's episode, we got the one and the only hanging back out with me again, CR McGee. What is good with you, my guy?
Man, I'm happy to be here. You know, Super Bowl week. Shit, let's get it.
Super Bowl week, man. Yeah, before we get into it, I do want to say thank you for Mac Brooks of the Mac Truck Podcast. She's been doing her thing on Celsius Media Group out in Iowa. She gave me a plug today on her show from yesterday, which I thought was cool to be on national wave, radio waves, and, her reciprocate the love from me and Evan Bradfield with In My Bag Apparel, doing the same. Big shout out to those guys, keeping it real and giving the plug for your boy over here. So what I want to get into
real quick. I'm feeling the turtleneck. It's giving the Rock with the fanny pack vibe.
You feel
yeah.
You know what? Actually, so when it comes to the chain, like, I haven't worn a chain in years. The last time I did was my late father-in-law gave me his. He's Alaska Native, and he gave me his gold eagle chain. But the chain itself was crazy long, so I haven't worn it in a while because I need to find one that matches the pendant, because the pendant, like, it's actually pretty thin or pretty small as far as like the chain that can fit into it. So I haven't been able to find one, but I got this and I was like, 20 and a half inches seems like it'd be long enough. And no, you're exactly right. I don't look exactly like the Rock, but I'm giving off Rock vibes, and I don't appreciate you doing that, man. I came on here feeling good, and now I feel self-conscious.
I mean, it's a nice look. You got the blue and with the red hair and shit. Stuff. You got it. You out here looking like a Buffalo Bill for real. The blue and the red. You good.
Oh my God. If only Benny the Butcher was watching, he'd appreciate it. I would like to think that he would, but probably not. All right. So the first thing I wanted to get into is you and I talked a little bit off air was I made a boo-boo from the production standpoint on Sunday when this whole not the Luka thing, but with Cam Newton earlier on the week of last week, he was trying to defend himself, and Stephen A. Smith, of course, being Stephen A. Smith, was, being himself with asking Cam Newton, would he give up an MVP? And I made up on my production spot because I didn't have everything plugged in and my audio sounded like crap. So I deleted the episode. But my point was, I don't blame Cam Newton at all for saying that he would defend wanting to keep his MVP instead of a Super Bowl. So I want to get, before I kind of reiterate my thoughts, I want to get yours for anybody who didn't, because if you listen to it, you already heard mine. I want to get yours on this one.
No, I'm with Cam. Like, it's like, you play to win the game, yeah, but like that's 50-something guys get a Super Bowl ring every year. It's only one MVP every year. So no, I wouldn't give that. Like, that's his only MVP. Now, if he was a multi-time MVP or something like that, then yeah, give one of them up. But nah, that's something that you're gonna have on your mantle. That's something you're going to pass down to your kids, they kids. Like, my grandpa was an MVP of the NFL one day. It's a lot more kids that can say my grandpa was a Super Bowl champion than my dad was an MVP or something like that. So, no, I'm completely with Cam.
For sure, yeah. And for me, it was a lot of the way that I kind of portrayed my thought process was the exact same thing. But the other thing, too, was it wasn't like we gave Cam a lot of not growing up, but in his days in the NFL, because of, one, the attire, to the Superman thing, especially when they were down by 30, he'd do whatever. Like it was still a signature thing. But when it came to like press conferences, he never threw anybody under the bus. He never didn't ever give credit to the coaching staff when they needed it. Or he always said the right things. He still gave offensive line their props. And the defense carried us today. He always said the right thing. So he never threw anybody under the bus. But what he's doing now is he's media Cam Newton. He's not quarterback Cam Newton. He can be more open about what he wants to say. And isn't this like these quarterbacks and coordinators and coaches are so robotic now, they don't really give you anything, where Cam didn't fit that prototype as far as the way he played on the field, but he always gave you what he was supposed to say in the press conferences. But now that he's not in that space and he doesn't have the locker room anymore, he's just more open. I don't fault him at all for what he said. I thought he was spot on with it. He carried himself the way he needed as a player, and in the media space, he's supposed to be entertaining, and that's what he's doing here. I don't think he's doing anything wrong.
No, he's a human. And like for people to act like, oh man, I would give up that MVP for that ring, bro. Like,
yeah, no. Because you're not good enough at what you do to get that job, and get that reward anyways. It's easy for you to say when you're never put in that position.
Right. And in a league full of men, you were the man that year. So no, I'm not giving that up. I'm not.
No, I 100% agree. And it's almost like the dude who lives at home in his mama's basement who's still eating Cheetos and saying that he wouldn't date Scarlett Johansson.
Man, shout out to James Rainier.
But also, how are you going to hate from outside the club when you can't even get in?
Correct.
Like, that's always been my thing, is the people who always said that they wouldn't do something are never in a position where they would have to make that choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Nigel popped in. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but what's good, my guy? Glad to see you with us. Craig Byron says, fly, Eagles, fly. Oh, no, he doesn't either. Yeah. And yeah, fly, Eagles, and the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the overall sentiment. But anyway, moving on from Cam Newton, this LA Mavericks.
Nigel funny. I just saw.
Yeah, did y'all you see? Okay. So if you don't follow the Playbook Podcast on Facebook, this is where we do the lives here and on YouTube. You can watch the Playbook Podcast live with Prescott Kelly. Just search Playbook Podcast or Prescott. You can watch there. I really wish that people would listen to the audio more, because the audio numbers are trash, but the videos, like the live Facebook views, are awesome, which I always appreciate the shares and people comment in. But like, there's other ways to support your boy. But anyway, we'll get back to the topic at hand with LA, AD, Luka, and the man. Like, so my initial response was, I think like most people, I thought that Shams got hacked. Right, like when it first dropped, and I know that's an old take now because it's been out there for a few days. But when it first dropped, I go, man, this bro, you got hacked, dog.
Right, it was late at night.
Yep.
I'm not look. I'm always keeping it being with you. I got my phone in my hand. I'm looking for a flick, and it just popped up on my screen. Like, I'm like, what? So I stopped looking for a flick, started reading what was going on, and here we are.
Well, I mean, it checks all the boxes of you've been hacked. It's late at night, and it basically has the trust me, this is real. No, trust me, I don't, dog. Like, no, there was no, I didn't. My gut reaction was like what most people's was. But also when we had the live on Sunday was, to me, this isn't really, it doesn't really do anybody any good, especially like right now, like right. The Lakers are bad on defense already. They just got worse. The Mavericks were bad on offense. They're just worse anymore because they were like basically 20-10 when they had Luka. Now they're 7-14 without him, right? So now you get better defensively, but now you have nobody on offense. But he's also been out since Christmas. I think the names are big, and that's why people care. But I don't think it really matters a whole lot, except for LA got somebody who's 5 or 6 years younger, and you still have somebody to pass the torch on from LeBron to like still keep the legacy alive of us getting superstars. But I mean, like in a vacuum, I don't think it really matters a whole lot.
I mean, it matters to Luka because it just cost him a whole lot of money. One, but
it's true.
I'm not a Mavericks or Lakers fan, so I don't have any ties to any of this. I like it for both teams. I know I might be in the minority. if you're the Mavericks and you're not comfortable paying him, what was it, upwards of $350 million was the extension going to be?
Yeah.
Then you shouldn't pay it. Where I would fault them at is like, yeah, you probably could have gotten more from other teams, but if you wanted AD and was just it is what it is. Like, I like the Mavericks right now. Do I like them to come out the West? No.
Stephen A.
But
Smith said that they would be the 1 seed. They could go undefeated the rest of the season and still not be the 1 seed.
yeah, I mean, OKC is cooking with gas. I mean, I expect them to win a series. I expect the Mavericks to win a series. Could I see
Okay.
them in the Western Conference Finals? Yeah, sure. I feel like they need another wing. They still got 2 days before the trade deadline. They can get another wing. Who knows what can happen. I like AD and Kyrie together. So they're trying to win now, apparently. I mean, they were just in the finals with Luka, so they probably could have still won now. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
From the
it's always
Lakers,
go ahead.
I was going to say from the Lakers side, honestly, I love it for the future. You just got a 25-year-old superstar. You gave up a 31-year-old star, Max Christie, who I'm high on in the first round pick. You pretty much got Luka for pennies on the dollar. So,
Yeah.
and I believe him and like Luka just carried the team to the finals last year with him and Kyrie. You give him and LeBron, yeah, I expect them to win a series too. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these two teams play each other in the playoffs.
I mean, if that just isn't poetic justice, like I don't know what is. Like it's written in the stars. It's a Hollywood type of ending to the season, right? And I've heard some conspiracy theories, and I'm one of those guys who I don't want to believe everything that I hear, but it makes my ears perk up when I hear certain things because the Playbook podcast is about, looking at everything from everybody's perspective, what has happened in the past that has gotten us to the future or into the present, basically. And Dwayne Wade says, this is a $1 billion corporation making $1 billion decisions, and they're trying to take the ownership back from players. I've also heard a theory of because Mark Cuban isn't quite as involved anymore, like he still has say in the organization, but he's not like the primary owner anymore, is that because the owners of the Mavs now come from this gambling enterprise that they want to move. And initially, I didn't hear that they want to move the team to Las Vegas. I just heard that there was gambling money they were trying to coordinate into this, which I didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But then the more I read, is that they want to actually relocate to Las Vegas. I feel like some of those are way too big of moves, but also it would not surprise me if all of those things somehow still coordinate because the NBA has gotten this reputation of it's a players league and we want to take, and old white men with money want to be old white men with money and make these types of decisions. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me, but do you think it'll be a trend going forward of if it happens to Luka, would it happen to these other guys that are up for these max deals? Because I mean, that's still a hefty chunk of change to not pay somebody.
It definitely put like you've heard Anthony Davis come out and say it. Jokic came out and said it. The players are on notice.
Yep.
Who would think Luka would get traded? But going back to what you said about the whole Vegas thing, I read that too. And from what I've read is that the Mavericks were trying to get a new stadium. I want to say maybe Arlington. I could be wrong. I'm not from there, so I don't know. And that got denied. It was going to be like an entertainment complex. So now, potentially they're trying to tank the value of the team somewhat in order to move them to Vegas.
Is that the
Which
reason why? Okay, so is that the reason why? Because I've heard the whole tanking thing, but it was never to move to Vegas. And I'm picking up bits and pieces from different articles, and I'm trying to kind of puzzle them all together. But so that seems to be the long term play is that they want to tank enough to get the evaluation lower and then move to Vegas.
right, because like you can't be a championship contender and move the franchise
and relocate. Yeah,
So
dude, that's a long play to do though.
it's a dirty play. Right,
Is that too?
that's dirty. Right, but it is what it is. You know, I'm happy. You know, you got people talking about the NBA. Let's keep it a buck. Nobody cared about the NBA for real until this trade the other day. We weren't talking about the NBA. We haven't talked about the Super Bowl. This is actually out covering the Super Bowl right now. The Anthony Davis talk.
which is wild. But it's also, I think the only reason why I think it is superseding it now is because people have just beat the dead horse of sports commentary of I'm tired of the Chiefs, and we're tired of you talking about how much you don't like them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this is refreshing. It's something new. Like it's still the trade deadline. Like these things still happen, and these big moves happen, and there's been other ones. This obviously is the most shocking, just because I've been telling people forever. I'm tired of hearing folks say that a contract is untradeable and that players are untouchable, because I've been telling you for the last 4 years on this space, with you seeing my face and you hear my voice, those two things do not exist. If you get a phone call from somebody, they're all fielding calls from each other. We all know this, but the names don't usually come up, but you're fielding calls from every other team about everybody. So when the Lakers go, hey, would you entertain getting Luka Doncic? It's like, I mean, I guess so, dog. Like,
yeah.
What are we really talking about? But like, yeah, and it's just, so for me, it's the other day, I didn't really get into it much of like the transactional point. It was just for me, the reason why it was such a big deal was just because the two names intertwined with the deal are so big. But in the moment, I don't think it really helps either exponentially to beat Boston in the East, or Denver in the West. It's just like it's two big names that are moving, and that's why we're making such a big deal of it. Now, the return on it, to me, it does feel like Dallas got absolutely waxed on that deal based on what you've seen Kevin Durant go for before him, what the Lakers have turning away Ball and Ingram and all these other guys into a championship, and Luka. Yeah, it feels like Dallas got fleeced, but I just don't feel like it moves enough for either one of them to win a championship this year or in the next 2 or 3, honestly, because Braun's not going to be there for the next few years, and he can't be 45 and still being awesome. Like there's just
right. We said that about Brady, so I don't know. I don't know.
That's why I don't want to fully commit to it.
Buddy had a 30-point triple-double the other day. Like, he's 40, I'm 38, my knees hurt. So like,
I'm gonna be 40. Yeah, I'm gonna be 41 in 3 months, dude, and every day is a struggle.
This dude different. So, he might. But I just look at, like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, I don't see how LeBron and Luka can play together. LeBron can play with anybody.
With Kyrie, though. That's the whole thing. When they traded for Kyrie, when Dallas got Kyrie, it was that how can they play together? They struggled at first, which of course is going to happen, and then they went to an NBA Finals. Stop being a dummy. Sometimes things take a moment to click.
Right. Yeah, they'll figure it out. Like, they're too. Like, LeBron's a basketball savant. Like, they're going to figure it out. Like, we saw LeBron drag Daniel Gibson to the finals.
Yeah, if your nickname is Booby, we're gonna have jokes about everything.
Yeah, shout out to Keisha Cole. That's his baby mama. But yeah, like, they're gonna figure it out. I expect if you told me that the Lakers are playing in June, it wouldn't shock me. Like, I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked.
Because they're both, if I remember right, because like the Mavs are what, 8th, 9th in the West right now, and LA is still somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know exactly what their record is, but I believe there's someone like that. They're fluttering around the play-in tournament, but it's all about matchups too, right? So like it's when Minnesota played Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. Everybody was on Anthony Edwards' nuts that he was the new Michael Jordan, right? At that time, everybody was all on his jock and saying he's the next guy. I can feel it. He's the next dude. And my whole thing was they don't match up with Dallas because you got two elite shot creators and your bigs are going to get exposed, and they did. Sometimes the matchups matter, and those two teams I think can still make the playoffs. I don't see them as title contenders this year, or in the odds shouldn't sway high enough for either one of them the impact to be such where they should. But yeah, like getting to a conference championship, it wouldn't entirely surprise me.
No. And right now, the Lakers are the 5th seed, just behind Denver. And like you said, Dallas is the 8th seed, but they're, 3 games out of the 6th seed. So
Okay.
anything can hell. I would love to see this be the 4-5 matchup in the first round. Let's go.
Like that would be legit. Nigel said this 40-year-old just rolled off the couch and ran a 12 and a half, 1.5 or 12-minute 1.5 mile on his PT test. I don't think that equates to professional basketball, bro. But okay, I love your enthusiasm though. Anyway,
Nigel built different.
he
built different.
He not like us.
No, I'm round. I'm embracing my dad bod.
So I know, right? I'm this dad bod's living rent free, and I'm not trying to escape it. I'm just trying to, maintain it, if you will. But so you're a Bulls fan, didn't Zach LaVine got traded to Sacramento, right? Was that correct?
Yeah, I'm a Bulls fan, unfortunately.
We got Bills and Bulls. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
what he took the earpieces out. I struck a nerve. I don't.
I'm a Bulls fan.
He almost quit the podcast mid-shift.
I'm on a boycott of the Bulls. I won't watch. I won't buy merch. Anything like I'll check a score here and there, read, but it's like, come on, man. Like what are we doing?
Do you really even care that LaVine was even dealt? Yeah, what was your affinity for the dude? Because what I was always told was that he wasn't any good, but I mean, individually, like he's a crazy talent. But Chicago's just been, to me, they've been cheeks for a minute. And
let's keep it a bean.
Just turn the chair around. Put your hand.
The Bulls are a poverty franchise. Like they are. You lucked into Michael Jordan, and he did what he did. You lucked into Derrick Rose. He had a nice run. Outside of that, the Bulls are the Clippers.
Oh,
like over the past 10 years, I think the Bulls have the 5th worst win percentage in the NBA. Like the Bulls are trash. But the Bulls are 3rd in the NBA in attendance and merch. Like, so why does ownership care? They don't. Like Jerry Reinsdorf is cool making money. Just like he's cool with the White Sox losing, because if the White Sox don't bring in money, a lot of people don't know Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't have to pay rent on the stadium. He actually gets money back when the White Sox are bad.
He's writing up on taxes like it's, depreciating asset.
Yes. The Bulls, Chicago, we love the Bulls. The Bulls sell out every damn game. He's still making money. I won't be a part of that. Like, bro, you're not getting a dime from me. Yeah, I know I'm not gonna be part of this. You won't get a dime from me. Like,
see, and I don't have a problem with that. When it comes to fans, they're like, "Oh, you're not a fan. You don't buy the merch. You don't go to the games." Like, one, it's really difficult for me being in Alaska. I don't really have the opportunity to represent in that way, But I mean, you can see behind me, the Buffalo Bills have hijacked enough money from me, my parents, my friends, my family, birthdays. Like they've made enough off of me. But when people are fans of certain squads but don't always want to make it known and be as outspoken about it because they're not spending money in free agency or they're just cheeks, it's like, I don't have a problem with that. Now, when you switch teams to just be on the right side of history and be what's good right now, I have a problem with that. But not fully supporting a squad that you've been a fan of forever, now that's okay in my book.
I love them. I love all my teams. I love the Bulls, the Bears, the Cubs, the Hawks. Like, I bleed this city, like, except the White Sox. Outside of that, like, come on, man. Like, I take my kids to Chicago Sky games. We go to Chicago Fire games. My son was heartbroken when the Fire couldn't sign Neymar the other day. I was like, nah, buddy, Neymar's going back to Brazil. He was sick.
Really? He cares about like that, huh?
He loves soccer. Like these younger kids, they different. I didn't care about soccer growing up. I knew Freddie Adu. That was it.
I was a big soccer fan when I was growing up, but it wasn't. I kind of got out of that phase when I was probably 13, 14. But from the ages of 8 to about 12 or 13, I was really into it, and I was legitimately good, by Alaska standards. So I mean, take that for what it's worth. But
I love soccer now. Like I watch the World Cup. I watch the EPL. I don't watch the MLS. It's garbage. Like if you watch the EPL, there's no way you can enjoy watching MLS. Like you just got to be a diehard fan. Like going to the games is cool, but actually sitting down and watching it on TV, I couldn't even tell you what channel the Fire come on.
Look, man, I've watched enough bad college sports and bad other things that I can guarantee you it's on CW. Like it's there, but I would imagine. So I worked at a television station, so as far as how the programming works, I would imagine that's where they land upon because Fox isn't getting those things. Yeah, NBC, ABC, and that's the station I worked at was ABC, Fox, and CW. They ran the promotions for those 3 stations up here. I worked there for like 3 or 4 months, and usually that kind of programming doesn't hit Fox and ABC.
Yeah, no, nobody want to watch that crap. Not like unless Messi's playing. I watch the Miami team, but yeah, no, I ain't watching that. But back to the Bulls, they're terrible.
Do you at least wish Zach LaVine well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Zach, like people like the knock on Zach LaVine is his defense. He's not a winning player, and by the numbers, he isn't. But like,
look what's going around him though.
That part, and like I just appreciate Zach the person. Like I appreciate the guys who are out in the community and advocating for. Like Zach's done a lot for the city of Chicago. So I wish him nothing but the absolute best. Him and his family. I'm glad he got out of this trash situation. Nobody deserves that except for Patrick Williams. He deserves all of this. You were the 4th pick in the draft, haven't done anything. And then the Bulls say, you know what? We're going to give you $90 million to stay. What?
And you're going to have Luka lose over 100 to get the hell out of Dallas.
Tyrese Halliburton begged the Bulls to draft him. He was like, I want to be there.
Wait, those words legitimately came out of Mr. Halliburton's mouth?
Man, look it up. Halliburton wanted to be a Bull. He made it known that he wanted. A lot of players made it known they wanted to be the Bulls. Michael Porter Jr. made it known he wanted to be a Bull. Oh, we took Wendell Carter.
Oh, my God.
It's like this dude that's in charge, he's an asshat. Like, bro, like, what are you doing? You trade 2 first-round draft picks for Vooch. Why? He was a nice player. He wasn't worth 2 first-round draft picks.
Is Vooch still there? He hasn't gotten dealt yet, right?
Nope. He was a free agent, and they gave him more money. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, the Bulls they should trade everybody. There's one player that they shouldn't trade. That's Buzelis. Keep him. He's 19, 20 years old.
He don't know any better.
Right. I ain't gonna say he's from here. He's from a rich suburb around here. But, we still gonna claim him. So
that's fair.
Like, get rid of everybody. Vooch gone. Kobe White gone. Ayo gone. You make Patrick Williams stay. He deserves all these. Other than that,
you just had the sports equivalent of you deserve the day that you get.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think Patrick Williams is trash. I'm just waiting on his balls to drop. Like the whole thing is,
how many years has he been in the league now?
This
Like
is fifth year.
I was gonna say, like, he's not a baby anymore.
Well,
Like, he's been able to reach the extension
the whole
program.
thing here has been, oh, DeMar and Zach are the reason Patrick isn't aggressive. He defers to them. Well, DeMar and Zach are gone, sir. So let's see what you got.
I do want to bring up a former Bull now that hasn't been traded yet, as we were talking about deferring, because it's cyclical back to the like not the original point, but other NBA trades was Jimmy Butler being a former Bull. And what's irritated me about his entire NBA legacy, if you will, is that when he gets to a place, he's that dog. He's that dude. Everybody else is soft. Everybody else is a simp. And then when he's tired of everybody else being soft and being a simp, he wants to get out. And I think that what the biggest frustration with him in Miami is the fact that he's like, I dragged this donkey of a team. And you can do, for me, Heat culture is absolute bull. It is a cop out of we win because we have won beforehand and we got Pat Riley. So just come here. But like Jimmy dragged that organization to an NBA finals, almost two, was close to another one. And he's like, I'm the reason why you guys got here. Pay me again. And this also comes back to the owners trying to take back some of the power that they've kind of relinquished over the past 10 years or so. And them saying, we aren't going to do that. We don't care about your past performances. And for me, I'm caught on the fence because I have been crazy over the top critical of the Steelers paying Ben Roethlisberger, the Falcons paying Matt Ryan for past successes and not being willing to cut the ties too early. But also, Matt Ryan didn't do anywhere close to, in the shorter amount of time. Jimmy Butler's done more for the Heat organization than Matt Ryan did for the Falcons. But y'all still want to pay him more money, even when he's in his 30s playing quarterback. And Jimmy Butler's looking at this like, I'm the reason why y'all got here. Give me another extension. I also understand from the Heat's perspective of like, dude, you're 35, 36, and you're already making $50 million a year. We don't want to extend it any further. But I can get it from both angles. But do you think that Jimmy Butler is going to stay in Miami because he's made this thing so outrageous that he's not attractive to teams? Because I think he'll still get dealt. I think the return's going to be worse, but I can still see him getting dealt in the next 2 days.
So the last thing that I read, which was a couple hours ago, that Jimmy is dead set on getting to Phoenix.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Is like, just because you say it, man, it don't mean it's gonna happen, though.
So like he's been the one tanking deals. Like Jimmy would have been gone if it weren't for Jimmy. So I honestly, bro, I don't even know. I don't know what's gonna happen. The only way to get to Phoenix is for them to get rid of Bradley Beal. Well, Bradley Beal got a no trade that says that he's not gonna waive.
But see, I thought also, if memory serves me right, didn't he want to go to Miami a number of years ago too? Like, wasn't that one of the spots that he had?
I thought so, but he doesn't want to uproot his family again. So,
well, I mean, you should probably have played better. But I mean,
I don't know what they thought they were getting out. Bradley Beal is Bradley Beal. I don't know what they thought he was going to be. Like, he has been what he's always been. He's a scorer. He shoots the ball well. He used to play solid defense, not so much anymore, but
he was at least serviceable. Like that, like there was effort for a while. And then it's once the third bag came around, it was
no. I don't know what Jimmy's doing. Somebody in the comments said something I completely agree with, that Pat Riley is the downfall of the Heat. Like,
oh, that was
that's another gripe.
I saw that.
That's another gripe that I read that Jimmy had. Like, bro, go get me some guys. Like, go get us some help. Like, if we if me, Tyler, and Bam drug y'all to 2 finals, go do something. We need more guys.
Well, see, this has always been my point when it comes to Pat, is that like there's egos involved with everything in sports, right? Like whether we want to admit it or not, we want to say we did it our way, and we're the reason for the construction of all of this stuff. And Pat Riley has been labeled the Godfather, and I think that he is always going to look at himself as the Godfather until he is meeting God. Like that, to me, is how he's going to continue to run things. And for the last 7 years ish, it's been, we're going to land a whale. We're going to land Kevin Durant. And you didn't. We're going to land Dame Lillard. And you didn't. We're going to land Giannis Antetokounmpo. You didn't do that. There's been so many. We're going to land James Harden. But you weren't willing to give up Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson to get any of them. Those were your untouchables by the great Pat Riley. They're always going to be good because he never wants to bail, but he is one of the reasons why they have been in this somewhat funk. He wants to do it his way, and LeBron and him, that broke everything to me, man.
Yeah, and like if you read the stuff that's come out over the last couple of days with the Luka trade, that's his next, great white whale. That's who he's going for next. That's where, like I read that was a fear of Dallas, that maybe Luka doesn't sign the contract and he just goes down to Miami because he has an affinity for that organization. So Pat Riley's been cheeks since LeBron left. Like, let's call it and he's the reason LeBron left.
Yeah, so, I mean, it certainly feels, bro, like for everyone who wants to put that on LeBron, it's like, man, if you want to put Pat Riley on this pedestal, how do you get outsmarted by LeBron? But LeBron ain't the one calling shots, or is he the one calling shots? Which one is it? Like we want to change the narrative when it feels convenient for whatever outcome is good for you and your sports take. All I know is that, yeah, like their roster construction has not been good. And Justin said that Duncan wasn't an untouchable. Yes, it was. There was verbiage right around the James Harden time a number of years ago where they said they weren't willing to give up. They were not willing to at all give up Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero or any combination of the two. So, I mean, we can put a rest to this one, but yeah, I mean, I guess to shut it down and we'll move on to the other players with Myles Garrett and Cooper Kupp. Do you think he'll actually get dealt within the next 2 days? Jimmy Butler, yes, no?
If I had to put money on it, I would say yeah. I think.
Do you think it still lands in Phoenix?
No.
Because he's got so Beal has a no trade clause. Jimmy Butler doesn't. Correct.
Mm-hmm. I think Beal and LeBron are the only two players in the league with no trade clauses. I believe.
I mean, yeah. At some point in time, like if it's being detrimental to the team, as they're saying, you want to let him walk for nothing. Like you might as well trade him. Like,
but the thing is, he's not going to walk because he has a $52 million player option for next year. So you got to get rid of him if you don't want to.
Because otherwise you're just paying him $52 million to just sit and sulk, and you can find them all you want to. And some of these teams, they'll pay back your fines. Like the NFL, I feel like the NFL seems to do it more often, if I'm not mistaken, than the NBA does. But they'll have the ability to pay back your fines if they, they're just trying to send a point, and then they'll kind of renege on it and go back. But I don't know if Pat Riley would be willing to do that with how public this has been with Jimmy.
No
I personally don't think he would do that.
No, sir. I wouldn't.
You would or you would not?
I would not.
No, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, but yeah.
This is a divorce that needs to happen.
Right. Y'all been trying to make
for the kids.
I was just gonna say y'all been making it work for the kids for too long, and y'all need to co-parent properly.
Yeah.
But speaking of divorces, Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland. Cooper Kupp wants out of LA.
Mm-mm.
And I know that there's a lot. Go ahead.
Cooper doesn't want out of LA. LA wants Cooper out.
That's fair. They want him out, and he's like, all right, well, if you guys are gonna kick me out the house like DJ Jazzy Jeff, then I'll go ahead and you can Uncle Phil me out of here. But for me, I wouldn't trade for Cooper Kupp anyways. Like even as a Bills fan, like the way that people talk about Cooper Kupp and how awesome he is, I still think he only has 1,000-yard seasons. Now, one of them was elite, but why would I just want to trade for another old wide receiver when I've already got Amari Cooper? Like I don't like Myles Garrett's the only one for me. If I'm just going to do fanfare, Myles Garrett, that's somebody who I would look into. But I mean, even still, the price tag that he is going to command and how far away the Bills still are, I still wouldn't make that move. They're more than a Myles Garrett away.
as a Bears fan, I definitely wouldn't touch either one of them. Like, I would love to have Myles Garrett,
Yeah.
but at the same time, what you're giving up in draft capital, and then you're going to have to extend him. You can't go fix that offensive line, and that needs to be priority number one. But as far as other teams in the league, like, I'd love to see Myles Garrett end up in Kansas City.
You are going to make, bro. People like you way too much for you to say that on like not national airways, but you know what I mean, man. Like your poll like ability is going to go down when you say that, bro.
Oh man, that's fine.
Your Q rating.
That's perfectly fine. I got a teenager that hates me all the time, so it's fine.
They live in my house and I don't care.
But no, like Myles Garrett is going to be a huge asset for somebody. I pray he doesn't go to Detroit. Like, I don't want that to happen. You know, as long as he don't end up in my division, I'm cool with it. Like, just keep your ass somewhere else.
Speaking of in division, though, I want to get your perspective on just the thought process of where people get traded to, because for me, okay, I know, and LaShawn is a really big advocate for he's not going to the AFC, is going NFC, and I understand the thinking behind it. You don't want to trade him to somebody who you might see, you know, in the regular season or might see in the playoffs. But for me, if it's in division, that's the only time I would be like, nah, that's the only time I would an untouchable would become almost actually untouchable, because I don't want to see you actually twice per season and then maybe a third time in the playoffs. Maybe that's it. But why would I want to cut out 50% of my trade options in conference when I'm not going to play you every single year because of how the schedule works? I may not ever see you ever. I just think that it's a little bit short-sighted to say I'm only sending you to an opposite conference, because I don't want to give up. When we talk about compensation, right? Somebody NFC is like, oh, I have to give up quite as much to get him then. AFC teams that might be wanting to pay through the roof, which is what he was mentioning with Bronson when he's like, yo, man, it's going to be an arms race with Washington and Detroit, Philly. These squads are all going to want to pay out the nose for it, but do you have the capital? But in the AFC, if you think you're one piece away, why would you take away 50% of your bargaining chips? Are you opposed 100% to trading in division, in conference, or you just whoever gives me the best deal is the best deal?
Man, like, if I'm trading you in conference, yeah, the price for you is going to be a little higher than the price for an NFC team.
That's the Dave Chappelle with the car. That's Dave Chappelle with the car wash, right? That's the old price.
If I'm trading you in division, oh man, man, you might as well lube up, because I'm about to get, like, man,
I'm gonna get mine.
Right. Like, I'm not opposed to trading, especially like when you're the Browns they don't have anything. Like, they're not going anywhere. So why would you say, hey, I'm not trading them to the Bengals, because you need to rebuild.
You might as well
get
anyway.
As many assets as you possibly can. Would it suck seeing him win for the fans? I'm sure it would. Yeah. But if you go and you get another Myles Garrett with what you got from Cincinnati, you know, it all works out.
So it's always tough, right? Because when you look at these things, even when it comes, if we're just talking specifically about Cincinnati with Cleveland, is that Cincinnati had a down year. They played well towards the end. So you never know where your draft positioning is going to lie, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going to send them to the Steelers, who we know are going to be a 9-10 win team. So we're not going to get as good of a draft pick, but you're also still getting multiple first round draft picks. But it really just, to me, shutting out all competition for the negotiation is asinine. You know, we would never send him in division. If I'm going to do it, you better man up, but I'm still going to field calls for it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, if you can't stomach it, then don't do it. But don't just shut it down. Don't be like, don't call. No, call. I'll take your call. I might not do it, but I'm at least going to hear you out. And if you give me some type of Godfather, Herschel Walker type offer, I mean, I'd be doing my franchise a disservice.
it's even something like I know that these scenarios are never going to happen. So I need to preface it. I don't feel like I should have to give people the answers to the test on these types of things, but I guess I have to just say it into existence regardless. Kansas City, Buffalo, get on the horn with each other. Buffalo says, I'm tired. But yeah, Buffalo calls Kansas City. Buffalo calls Kansas City and be like, yo, man, we are tired of you beating us. What you think about Josh Allen for Patrick Mahomes? KC's going, nope. But because if Josh Allen's as good as what everybody says he is, they're like, well, we'll entertain it. That phone call probably doesn't happen because if we're really talking about the closest thing to untouchables, it really is Lamar, Allen, Burrow, and Mahomes, right? But if you're talking about a combination of those two and getting draft picks and stuff, because we're tired of losing to number 15 in red, you're at least
KC not even entertaining that. They're not even gonna take your call.
No, I don't think that KC. I personally don't either because I consider him to be the best quarterback in football, and I'm not doing anything stupid to. Until you prove to me that I can't win with him, that's my dude. He's the only dude to me who gets a blank check for me. But
I'm with you when you're right.
But so yeah, when it comes to like Cooper and Garrett, like so we kind of addressed the who's off the table for places. Is there any place that you think is super desperate to want to get Myles Garrett? Because I think that Cooper Kupp is just one of those guys that we think is a nice piece, but where he's not a difference maker. Is Myles Garrett, are you really concerned about him going someplace either in your division or someplace else?
Me, I'm definitely concerned with Myles. I'm scared that both of them ended up in Detroit. Honestly, it wouldn't be bad for Detroit. Like Detroit needs someone opposite Aiden Hutchinson who is due money, but I think he still has 2 years left on his rookie deal. So you really,
they don't have to pay him until right.
Then you know, I don't think Cooper Kupp's price tag is gonna.
Your bestie Tay is gonna be just like rent free.
Man, I just want him here. That's it. But I don't think.
Oh, you want Cooper Flag in Detroit for the Pistons?
No, God, no, Chicago, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. We talked about Detroit so much. That was my fault. Hell no, I don't want him there.
I wouldn't be shocked to see either one or both of them in Detroit. I think both of them would help, like especially Garrett. You put him and Hutchinson on that line with McNeil in the middle. I think the linebackers suck, but you know they have an improving secondary. Brian Branch to me is like the great value version of Kyle Hamilton. Like that'll be ugly. And they definitely need another receiver. Like I like J-Mo, love Amara. You know, I'm not big on Tim Patrick, but you get another chain mover like Cooper Kupp over there.
The only thing that I would worry about is the compensation because he's only had 2 1,000-yard seasons. One was a Triple Crown year, and he's over 30. So I mean, he's not somebody like you're here for a good time, not a long time. If you trade for Cooper Kupp,
so if it's anything more than a 4. I might be able to give you a 3, but that's as far as I'd be willing to go for Cooper Kupp because he has been injury prone. Like you said, he's had 2 really, really good seasons. So I'm not paying out the wazoo for him. Like at some point, you're either going to trade him or you're going to cut him, and I'll just go sign him.
Yeah, exactly. And LaShawna mentioned that I think that I'll have to go back through to get the exact numbers, but I thought that he said his original thought process, I think it was the Packers for Myles Garrett, and he was thinking 3 firsts. And then because when you think that you're in the mode, right? Because Green Bay is the youngest team in the league, and they're not paying everybody. So if you're going to this, if you think you're close, the problem for me is like if you swing and do that, you're setting yourself back because to me, Green Bay isn't that good anyways, because Jordan Love isn't that good. If you want to make the swing for the fences on it, you certainly can. Bro got paid off of 8 games a year ago and was Chiefs for half the season again this year. Like, I just feel like they swung for the fences and missed.
I still need to see more because, like you said, he missed time this year. I see the talent. It's the processing that, you know, they need a receiver. Christian Watson can't stay healthy to save his life. Like they got some nice, solid young receivers. But if I'm Green Bay, I'm calling New York and being like, man, I know Garrett Wilson don't want to be there. What's up? That's what I'm doing if I'm Green Bay.
For who?
Garrett Wilson. I'm calling about Garrett Wilson.
The Jets, not the Giants. Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not
interesting
because I feel like Green Bay's paid Love. Who else is really making money over there? Jacobs makes nice money, but it's not a lot because he's a running back.
Jair Alexander.
He's about to be out of there.
Yeah, he's going to be out, but they
paid Xavier McKinney. I think Gary's making decent money. I don't see why they wouldn't go and swing for the fences. Go get Garrett. No, please don't. But
don't. But I understand why you would.
It makes too much sense.
Yeah, it really does. Nigel says your GM talking about the Bills had the great idea to trade with KC to let them grab Xavier Worthy. I think that the more important trade that you should be focusing in on is them trading 27th and 10th pick for Tre'Davious White for Patrick Mahomes. I think I'll start there. Xavier Worthy is a nice enough player, but that's all. And I do, man. I know that you and I have talked about this a little bit as far as like you being a Bears fan. Is I've never hated y'all for not drafting Patrick Mahomes because y'all weren't the only ones who whiffed.
Right.
That dude slid to 10. That's not a you problem. The problem was trading up to get Trubisky. It's not missing on Mahomes. It's making that one. The Bills really have given the Chiefs Xavier Worthy, which again, I don't know if he's going to be great, but he fits what they do with their personnel, their coaching and everything like that. But the big one is really y'all let Mahomes just slide in front of y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like hindsight is 2020.
Right. And I've always said that too, is like if Mahomes goes to Buffalo, he's not Patrick Mahomes because he doesn't have Andy Reid. He doesn't have any offensive weaponry except for a broken Charles Clay and an old LaShawn McCoy. Good luck.
He doesn't sit that first year and learn.
No, he starts day one if they end up doing that for sure.
So it's like people. It's just a stupid conversation. Oh, they missed on this guy. Like, did they? Did they miss? Because nobody had Patrick Mahomes as a generational talent.
No, because
if he did, he would have went one.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. That's always been my point is that if you're supposed to be that good, you don't slide to 10 and somebody has to sneak up to get you. You don't get past 1.
We can go back and there are people who didn't even have a first round grade on Mahomes. So what are we talking about? There are people that thought Deshaun Kaiser was going to be better than Patrick Mahomes.
Brady Quinn. I mean, I'm not saying draft, but I mean, it's just we always have these we have these thoughts in our minds of these delusions of grandeur of who's going to be the generational talent. And I had this conversation just the other day with I think it was Tony Burden, where we use the word generational every single damn year. They're not generational if they come around every 300 days. That ain't how it works.
Exactly. Like just like last year, I never thought Caleb was generational. Caleb was not my QB1. Wasn't Daniels either, so I'm not going to say that he was.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm a Penix guy. I thought Penix was the most ready. I thought Penix was going to be. I wanted the Bears to trade down, grab Penix. We did. I'm okay with Caleb. I think he'll be a good player. But all these people, you missed out on Jaden Daniels. Don't do that.
That's
like Caleb was the consensus number one for the most part. There were a few people who said Daniels, but
yeah,
Caleb was the guy. He'd been the guy for years. And it's not like he had a bad year.
I know. Well, so yeah, and it's did he live up to the expectations? No, but whenever you have that much hype around you, it's going to seem like it's going to be overblown because when you're talked about, Trevor Lawrence is the exact same way. We've been knowing about him since high school, and wins a national championship. We think that he's the dude, and the next thing you know, he's not. But even the Caleb slander after 1 year has been higher than anything that Trevor Lawrence has experienced his entire NFL career. But I will take my little victory lap on. I didn't know that Jaden Daniels was going to be this year. but I mentioned it with Bo Nix as well. It's like I don't have a problem with getting a quarterback who's 22, 3, or 4 years old, because to think that they're going to play, we mentioned this, like the outliers are LeBron and Tom Brady. You're not going to get a quarterback playing until he's 45. Get him for a good 10 years. If he's already 23, 24, maximize it with the 10 years. They're all chasing ghosts anyways. They're never going to be considered the GOAT anyways. Just be good, win a ring, get your money, and get out. Or you don't believe that at all.
No, I had it on mute. My wife was saying I was talking through my teeth. So my wife. So
always leave it to the lines of color. That's not getting edited out either. That's gonna stay. That's gonna stay on the road.
Yeah, I was literally like, all right, okay, I'll be up in a second. So yeah, so no.
If you need to get out, man, we'll let you get out. I ain't trying to get you in trouble.
No, she was just letting me know that the kids were home. So, and I hear them running above my head anyway. So,
nah, you good. Let's say you was. Let's get to Super Bowl preview real quick, and then we'll hang it up for the day. All right, Eagles Chiefs this Sunday. I've been going back and forth on this because I feel, again, I'm not somebody who cries wolf with the officiating and leans into that. It's just not part of my DNA and who I am. But I do think that one thing that has to happen is something I've been saying about anybody who plays Kansas City is that you got to get up early. And when I say early, I feel like I'm not doing a good job of explaining exactly what I mean, as far as it doesn't have to be within the first 3 minutes. Like you got, touchdown, turnover, touchdown again. It's more of, if you get the ball first, can you score? Get a stop, get another score. Even if it takes you almost the entire first quarter, can you get up by 10 or 14 points in the first quarter, however you had to manufacture it? And that is where I think that Philadelphia has the ability to do that. But I've been talking for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, is that when teams break script, they get too cute. And Tony Burton said the exact same thing. When you dress cute, you turn to get, and so
that's how I got all these kids. Yeah.
So it's, to me, it's, I mentioned that 98-yard drive that Philly had, week 16, 17, and they at least have the ability to do that. And it's not necessarily one tush push at a time, but I mean, you get up, if you get the ball first, score, get a stop, get another one. That's how you got to make KC play. What's kind of your recipe for success, if you think, for one side or the other to get the W on Sunday?
I feel like for both sides, like, you got to get up. If I'm KC, I want to get up because I want to see if Jalen can do it. Like, Jalen did it to him in the last Super Bowl. Let's not act like he can't do it, but it's like, do it again. I don't believe Jalen Hurts is 100% healthy. I just don't. So if I'm KC,
nobody really is. Yeah.
I want to get up and I want to see if, I want to make Jalen beat me, because if you let Saquon be Saquon, you're going to lose. If you don't stop Saquon, you're going to lose. Their defense is good enough to stop Kansas City. You have to make Jalen Hurts beat you. And I don't think that they can. So I'm going with Kansas City. Philly, play how you've been playing. Please don't stop playing how you've been playing, because if you try to get into a shootout with them, I don't think you're going to win. Like, Steve Spagnuolo is going to draw up some blitzes, and he's, they're going to stop Saquon. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen. Saquon will probably might have a buck, but it'll be a buck on 3 yards average to carry, something like that. It's not going to be the whole averaging 8 yards a carry for the game. Like, Kansas City they gotta come ready to play.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to be completely stopped. Now, is he going to score an 80-yard touchdown on his first touch? Probably not. What I think is, because the chess match is what always kind of intrigues me when it comes to these high profile and high pressure games is we know that when it gets to third and less than 2, we got tush push coming if it's Philly. What I'd almost kind of like to see is like, if you see a matchup, there's a defensive matchup that you like on 2nd and 8. Are you willing to do it anyways, just to throw a wrinkle in? You know, is it going to happen? No, probably not. But if it's all about the matchups and they're in nickel and you already have a big 2 tight end sets and everything's going on and got everything going right, do you want to make them think maybe it's a trick play, maybe it's a fake and a pitch to Saquon? Like, what are we going to do? Because last time Philly won a Super Bowl, they had the Philly special. They were ready for something with New England, and that formation obviously wouldn't work with that. But it's just, what is Nick Sirianni going to do anything that is more boneheaded than he's already done, or will it be looked at as genius because it actually works and nobody was looking for it? You know, the onside kick with New Orleans when nobody was expecting, like those things rewrite history, man.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Like,
I don't either.
Each game that they've won in the playoff, they've run the ball. You know, they pass it when they have to. They played excellent defense. They've been taking the ball away. I don't see them getting away from that. And like, if they do, it could be to their detriment. Like, it really could, because if it doesn't work, that other dude on the other side, man, like you don't want to give him extra bullets, like, because he don't miss. Like he don't miss. Like, come on, man. We seen this dude scoring 13 seconds. We thought that game was over.
I mean, we all saw it, but I had to see it. I quit my job that day. But I was happy about it. But
you know, each game is about matchups. And I feel like there are more matchups on Kansas City's side to exploit on Philadelphia than the other way around. Like, the one thing that scares me if I'm Philly, and I know those young dudes have been playing, Mitchell and DeJean, and they've been good, man, you're going against this dude, and he's going to come after you, and he's going to attack them. Like, we know what it is. He's going to attack them. He's going to try and exploit them. So we're going to see. I'm looking forward to it.
It's weird because, like, when you go by position group, right? Like, remember the old Madden games, like 93, 94, it'd be like quarterback and stars and whatever. It's like, if we're doing the boxes that we're checking, it's quarterback KC over Philadelphia. Offensive line, though, Philadelphia over KC. Defensive line, Philadelphia over KC. Secondary, you might say it's a push because I think Trent McDuffie is better than Darius Slay. Even Cooper DeJean, they kind of move him around, but you know, so even if you want to call that a push. Linebackers, probably a push. Wide receivers, every single check mark goes to Philadelphia, it feels like, except for coach and quarterback. And, you know, it's just
those are big. Those are big.
The two biggest ones matter. And it's going to be a chess match of, you know, if the last time that we saw Kansas City face a defensive front like this in the playoffs was Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay had Tom Brady, not Jalen Hurts, you know, and that defensive line just wrecked Kansas City. And even in a loss, Patrick Mahomes played one of the best football games I've ever seen in an L. And I don't think that the players are specific enough, just enough with Kansas City and Andy Reid and Spags on the coaching front are so much of what they do. And Travis Kelce and Mahomes have this ability to like read each other during the play that I haven't really seen with anybody, like any other combination. I got Kansas City too, but and Nigel said he wants KC to win because he likes to see the world burn. And I do too, kind of.
Yeah, like I'm
like, in a way.
I'm so tired of listening to the bitching, like, oh, they cheat for Kansas City. Oh, yeah, because the 31 other owners are okay with that. They're like, yeah, we want Kansas. Like that. Just, it's stupid.
It's so dumb. And that's, we had, and again, I know that I've talked about this before, and I think that Tony said the exact same thing. It was like, because the other owners want to have that.
Right.
Got it.
The NFL loves the middle market Kansas City team being no. They would rather it be a New York team or LA. Like it's just stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's meat-headed.
Well,
Like
it's no matter what happens, right? No matter what happens, it's rigged. Because let's say the Niners win. Oh, well, it's just them trying to get back to the glory days. If the Cowboys win, trying to get back to the glory days. If the Bills win, oh, it's staged because they could never beat Patrick Mahomes and they lost 4 straight Super Bowls. Like you can pick the narrative however you want to once the outcome has happened. You're going to spin it however you want to. And it is, like you said, it's meathead, it's Neanderthal, it's lowbrow, and you kind of sound like a bitchin'. We ain't here for it.
yeah, and another like I want Kansas City to win. Another reason is because I've seen a lot, and the videos have come out over the years with Eagles fans, but bro, some Eagles fans, not all of them, but some of them have been so trash as human beings. It's like I don't want those trash people to be happy. Nothing against my boys Craig and Tony and all them,
Right.
but man, it's those people don't deserve good things.
No, and we kind of alluded to it earlier, man. Like I hope that you get the day that you deserve, right? And that's kind of like when you get these guys who act that way. It largely is men. Like let's be serious. It's mostly men who are the ones doing this. It's just wild. Like I understand that you want to be passionate about your team and stuff, but now Philly and Uncle Phil and I actually talked about this. Is like it's odd that Philadelphia is the only one that gets this rap of like being a hard sports town, but it also does have a lot to do with the fact that maybe they're just not nice people. Same thing with Boston; they're just not nice people. But like at every stadium you go to, it seems like more the California ones, like the Raiders and Niners and Chargers. Like it's like we were constantly seeing people getting stabbed and thrown off balconies and all this other stuff. But Philly dudes are fighting women and shooting off guns. Did you see that when they won the NFC Championship game? Some dude was in the middle of the street in a parade and was firing off a gun in the middle of one of the streets.
Did you see the dude that died? Like he fell off a damn pole or something and hit his head. Something like.
Are you talking about the Niners game?
No, the Philly this past game. He was celebrating and he fell off like a light post and died. It's like they're idiots. It's idiots.
It's just like I understand wanting to rep your team, but you got to have more of a personality than just that. And Nigel said those motherfuckers pelted Santa with snowballs, and that's I'm like, y'all just ain't happy about nothing.
Man, like
how does he not bring you joy?
I don't know.
But
I wish,
tell you what, I've been saying like I want to try to compensate people for their time when they come on here, and that's what I need to talk to you more off air about that thing. But I will throw cash prize to you if you correctly produce. Oh, who we got here?
Oh, that's Maggie.
That's Maddie. All right. So again, if you guys aren't following the Playbook Podcast on Facebook, please do because you're missing out on this cute ass dog. Or you can watch on YouTube the Playbook Podcast live with Prescott Kelly. That's Maddie. But no, I'm willing to throw you $50 if you correctly guess the score of Chiefs Eagles live right now. Nobody else in the chat gets to do it. No, but it's not for you. This is only for CR.
I'm gonna go 27-24 Chiefs.
All right. So first I'm gonna do that. 27-24.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And 27-24 Chiefs. And tell you what, I'll throw in another 50 if you can correctly guess Super Bowl MVP today.
Oh, my homeboy.
A homie?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll never bet against him.
All right. I like that. So what we'll do is I want to say, CR, thanks for your time today. I'll let you scoot. I know the kiddos are back. And
yeah, I'm sitting here with my bitches. You know, you see them.
So it's Maddie, and who's the other one?
This is Virginia.
Virginia. That's right. Virginia was on the last time. She made her presence felt.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know the drill. Thank you, Mac Truck of the Mac Truck Podcast, Mackenzie Brooks, Evan Bradfield, who were on the Mac Truck Podcast the other day, giving me a plug for Celsius Media Group in Iowa. You can like, share, subscribe, smash the 5-star reviews wherever you get your podcast for this show. And CR, appreciate your time, my man. We'll catch you guys on the next one. You guys on the drill. Stay up, stay blessed.
Always, always.